Today I'll show you how to crochet the Tunisian crochet simple stitch, and we do that crocheting a potholder. Of course you can crochet just a sample as well, like I have prepared here, but if you prefer to have a finished project that you can also use, then simply chain a few more at the beginning so you can make a beautiful Tunisian crochet potholder. What we need for this is some Aran weight cotton, pair of scissors, a wool needle, and of course a Tunisian crochet hook. I took a size 6mm or UK 4 here, but depending on how you usually crochet, you might even prefer a slightly larger hook. For example, a K size would work fine too. First, chaining as many as you need. If you just want to crochet a sample, I would recommend you chain about 20. If you want to crochet a potholder like me, then you might want to make a slightly larger potholder. Chaining about 25 to 30. I'll chain 20 here. You may be wondering if you need to use a crochet hook with cord 2. Of course you don't have to, because it's a small project. There are also solid sticks that are around 30 centimeters long. They have a head and a stopper at the back, or they have a head on both sides to crochet in the round. Either works here. The important thing is that you have taken a crochet hook that you can work well with and that won't hurt your hands. If we want to crochet the Tunisian crochet potholder here, then let's just take a look at our chain first. We have a loop here on the hook. This is the working loop and our first stitch. Then we turn the work and look at the back of the the backbone, where we want to insert our hook now. When Tunisian crochet, you usually don't need to work additional turning chains, which means that you simply insert your hook in the second backbone from the hook and then pull up a loop. Insert hook in the next backbone and pull up a loop. Insert hook in next chain and pull up a loop. Repeat this for all chains. You can already see down here, this will be our bottom edge, so it's also great for crocheting patchwork, for example, or to join crochet pieces, or simply for a nice border and a clean edge. Perfect. By the way, you can also do that with normal crochet. Well, I continue crocheting here. Always make sure that you don't crochet the stitches too tight and that you have a little room so you can move the loops here and there easily. Only the first stitch, I made it a bit too loose. You should try to make it a little bit neater and tighter, because otherwise you'll have this hanging right lower edge in the finished crochet project and it looks just bad. So now I am finished, and if you have all the loops on the hook, then that should be exactly as many as you crocheted at the beginning. To work the whole thing off now, chain 1. And for the rest of the return pass, yarn over, pull through next 2 loops on hook, yarn over, pull through next 2 loops on hook, and so forth. Repeat that for every stitch until you have only one stitch left, one loop left on your hook. Foundation row, That was the foundation row. Now Tunisian simple stitch forward pass. The working loop remains on the hook again. This will be the first stitch of our new row. Do not crochet a turning chain. For the Tunisian simple stitch, just insert your hook from right to left under the front vertical bar of the next stitch and pull up a loop. We leave the loop on the hook again. Insert again from right to left under next front vertical bar, pull up loop and leave it on the hook. And repeat that for every stitch until the very last stitch of the row. If you already notice that your crochet hurts your hands or it doesn't work smoothly, then go up a size or two with your hook. I so often read, I don't do Tunisian crochet anymore because it's so strenuous on the hands and the material is so firm. This is mostly due to the fact that you have used a hook which is just too small. And in Tunisian crochet you almost always have to go up with your hook size. The last stitch of the row is now crocheted a little differently. Turn the work a little, then you can see this drop-like stitch here. And now we insert the hook here, not only under the front vertical bar, but also under the back vertical bar. And we pull up a loop. I show you again. Look for the drop stitch, drop-like stitch. Then we insert the hook from front to back under both vertical bars and pull up a loop. Simple stitch return pass. We work off this last stitch off with a chain 1 and proceed in exactly the same way as you already know. You yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and work your crochet piece off like that. Until you only have one loop left on your hook, which is again the first loop of your next row. Great, now you'll already have crocheted your first row in Tunisian simple stitch. Count your stitches again and we'll repeat the whole thing with another row. So continue with the next row, which is crocheted in the same way. Insert your hook under front vertical bar of next stitch and pull up a loop. And repeat this on for every other stitch. On the right side you nearly never have to do anything, just leave the first loop on the hook. This is what it should look like, and that's the nice thing about Tunisian crochet too. The stitches are really easy to identify and you can count them easily. Actually, Tunisian crochet is, in my opinion, a technique that is super suitable for beginners. Now we're right back at the end of the row, the forward pass, and we'll work the last stitch of the row again. You insert your hook in this drop-like stitch again. Some people say small V or small O. And you insert your hook under both vertical bars of that stitch and pull up a loop. Chain 1, yarn over, pull through 2. And remember, if this is going too fast for you, you can adjust the speed of this video on the right bottom corner. Here are some additional tips. Be careful that on the return pass you don't pull through 3 loops, just 2, because then you'll already have a decrease and the row becomes too short. Now I repair this now. You now proceed in this way until your pot holder or sample is long enough, and then I show you how to finish the crochet piece. By the way, you can see how your work curls a bit. This is very typical for Tunisian crochet, and it also happens at the top edge. So not with all stitches, but for example with the Tunisian simple stitch or even more the Tunisian knit stitch, this is quite typical. There are several tricks you can use to avoid this or fix this. One, for example, which is often spread on the internet, is that you simply use a larger crochet hook at the beginning and at the end. I really don't recommend to do that though, because this will distort your shape if you use a larger hook, and the piece will be much wider and don't look nice at the end. Another recommendation is to use a different stitch at the top and bottom, for example the purl stitch or the reverse stitch, because they don't curl. But that's also a bad compromise, of course, and it wouldn't be a solution for me personally. Imagine you want to crochet a potholder in Tunisian simple stitch, and you just don't want to use another stitch. Therefore, in the end, you don't really have much choice. Just block the potholder and do it properly with safety pins and moisten it if it's cotton, and then let it dry. So this will fix the curling. All right. Welcome back. We now have nearly finished the piece. I have prepared my sample so far, and you can see what I have just explained to you, that it just curls. And on the other hand, you see my finished pot holder that is already blocked. So the blocking, which you see, it works really well, and it's worth the effort. We now want to crochet the final row. So to do this, you first finish your last return pass. So you have one loop on your hook again. And of course we don't want to leave it like that with all the gaps. So as I already said, in Tunisian crochet we usually have 4 very beautiful edges. And we'll do this for the top edge now too. And to do this we'll crochet slip stitches here. And we'll insert our hook just the same way as we did before in Tunisian simple stitch, and then just pull through all loops on hook. Insert as for Tunisian simple stitch, pull up the loop and pull it through all loops on hook, and do this for every stitch until the end of your row. So now we crochet the last stitch here. We have this nice edge you can see. Pull through all loops, chain another one, then cut off the yarn and pull through the end. So now you've completed your first project in Tunisian Crochet Simple Stitch. Congratulations! I would be happy to see us again soon. I've put all the links to the materials in the description of the video, and also the step-by-step instructions. Hope to see you again with the next episode.